We're playing in Season 3 of the Paldea Battle Association hosted by Gravy. The PBA is an almost standard Wi-Fi draft league with some extra threats that can be drafted from the UBERS tier. Some notable mons you won't usually see in a Wi-Fi draft league are Freedomeon, Lugia and Necrozma Dawnwings, to name just a few. We were lucky enough to get 3rd pick overall in the draft, putting us in a great position to get one of the strong Uber tier Pokémon. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the Welshion's team for this season of the PBA. Our first pick was SOLGALEO. I was hoping for Freedomeon, but Jack got it right before our turn. Other than telling you we picked SOLGALEO just because it's bound to be a little bit broken, it has a great dual typing with Psychic and Steel, allowing it to resist some of the more prominent threats in the draft format like Dragon and Fairy. It has a massive 137 HP and attack stat with great defense and special attack stats. It has good physical and special move coverage and a variety of ways to set up, along with its ability Full Metal Body, preventing any of its stats being lowered by other Pokemon. Next, we got Greninja. During our time in Draft League in Gen 6 and 7, we never had the opportunity to draft the Ninja Frog, even when it was just limited to the Torrent ability in the format. Now, it is allowed to use its other abilities Protean and Battle Bond. These two abilities make Greninja a constant threat and give it snowball potential with Battle Bond specifically. There isn't much Greninja can't do offensively, as it can be physical, special, or mixed set, and can also set up spikes or toxic spikes. It has a high speed stat and access to priority in Water Shuriken and can help keep up offensive pressure with U-turn. Our next pick was meant to be Zapdos, but that went, so Thundurus Therian joined the team instead. This is another Pokemon I've always wanted to draft and is one of our Terra captains with a flying Terra type, so Acrobatics or Fly aren't its only flying type moves. Thundurus T is one of our electric immunities thanks to its Volt Absorb ability and its flying type, and has two different ways of pivoting with U-turn and Volt Switch, meaning it doesn't always have to worry about the ground type switching into it. It can set up with agility or nasty plot and take control of games thanks to its decent coverage. We were a little early on the next pick, which meant we were sniped of Sylveon and Cinderace in the following rounds. But we wanted to ensure a reliable spinner was on the team, so we got Donphan. It gives us another electric immunity, a spinner, a hazard setter, and has access to important moves in Earthquake and Knockoff. It's 120 defense and attack stats, meaning it can take a hit and deal decent damage back. I'm in 2 showdown leagues that have been going on the last couple of months and was sniped with Donphan in both leagues, so I'm happy to actually get it this time. Our next pick is the bulky water type, Godfish Extraordinaire, Alomomola. I have this in another league and I've loved using it. Although it lost knockoff this generation, it can do so much for the team. It can slow Wish Pass with Baton Pass or Flip Turn and has a massive 165 HP stat, so it's guaranteed to be able to bring the frail mons on the team back to full HP or near enough. Aloe has the Regenerator ability, allowing it to heal itself while it passes those wishes to teammates. It may not have the biggest move pool, but it does what it does well, and I'm happy with that. Our next pick is our Fairy type. The Fairy started going quickly this round, and by the time it got back to us, Diancie was the best option left. Diancie gives us the Dragon immunity and gives us 2/3 of our Fairy, Dragon, Steel core with SOLGALEO. Diancie has a huge 150 defense and special defense stat, but a small HP stat of 50. The defensive stats allow it to take hits and deal good damage back with its attacking stats of 100. As you'll see from the rest of our picks, we don't have the fastest of teams, so Diancie's use of Trick Room will provide great support for the team and allow it to maybe get a few KOs of its own. Diancie is also our second Terra captain with Fairy, Poison and Grass as its types. To finish off our FDS core, our next pick is Kyurem. Somehow Garchomp was still on the board at this point, but we've used that before and didn't want to double up on the ground types. Kyurem is another mon I've always wanted to use in draft format, so I'm excited to be able to use its good bulk and offensive stats and see what it can do. Whenever Kyurem comes in, our opponents are going to have to make a 50-50 call on whether it's a special or physical set. Fairy types aren't a problem for this dragon with either Iron Head or Flash Cannon, and it also gets Earth Power for those pesky Steel types. It can set up with Dragon Dance and get big damage off with Loaded Dice Scale Shot and Icicle Spear. We're still in need of a fire type, and as our other choices of Cinderace and Entei were gone, that left Infernape for us to take. We used Infernape back in TBU and in one of the showdown leagues we're in. Infernape has gained a lot of bad press this generation, with people saying it's fallen off recently. As this is our first time back in the scene, we'll find out how accurate that is. Infernape has great dual stabs with its fire fighting typing and has access to strong moves like Flare Blitz, Close Combat and Overheat. It can run mixed sets, choice sets of any kind, can pivot with U-turn, set up Stealth Rocks or use utility moves like Taunt. It used to be a sought after pick for any draft player, so let's see if it's still got what it takes. To round out the team, we need a grass type and preferably a grounded poison type. For our grass type, we drafted Decidueye. Roll compression was important here, as another hazard remover would be beneficial for the team, and a fighting immunity is essential on this team, so Decidueye covers that for us. Sun and Moon was where we left our YouTube journey last time, so Decidueye was never given a fair chance. With its decent stats and trapping plus pivot potential, it should support the team well. For our final pick, we wanted Muck, but we're short on points, so we got Skuntank instead. This is another mon that has lost more than it's gained this generation. It's been on the Welchions before, so hopefully it can still be useful. It still gets Toxic and Toxic Spikes this generation and can still knock off. It used to be a good utility mon and still has access to most of what used to make it a good low tier pick. And that's going to be the Welchions for this season in PBA. I'm excited to use a lot of mons I haven't before, and I'm excited to be back on Wi-Fi. Just got to learn how to deal with the pressure of the short timer. There's a lot of really good coaches in this league and some old friends, which will all be linked down below, so be sure to give them your support. Battles will be uploaded every Monday, so I'll see you next week.